Hello everyone, how are you? This is Kei. So welcome back to my another live stream today. So today is the 5th of August in 2023 and this is on Saturday. So I hope you have a great weekend. And today I will be introducing the asset growth and also the trading strategies of BNF and CIS on this live stream. Oh, actually, I was going to record a video and upload on my YouTube channel, but I couldn't find time, and that's why instead of uploading the video, I decided to do live today. So this is more like an public recording. So first, I will continue to talk and introduce their asset growth and also strategies and the trade setups and also some of the question and answer sessions with them. And then if time permits, then I will check some comments and check some questions or comments since this is live stream. Okay, so this is going to be the part 3 of video series. So I hope you enjoy today's video today. Okay. All right, good to see you everyone. I see comments already, so thank you very much for joining. So today, the chapters look like this. So chapter 1, asset growth of BNF, and chapter 2, BNF's contrarian strategy, and chapter 3, BNF's trend follow strategy, and chapter 4, BNF's trade setup. I actually find the picture of himself and also some PCs and how he set up his trading station. So I will introduce what kind of screens or websites or information he has been referring to while he was in the trade. And chapter 5 is about asset growth of CIS. I think I should call CIS because usually in Japan we call him CIS than CIS. So I think today I will call him CIS. Okay, so asset growth of CIS, and chapter 6, CIS trade strategy, chapter 7, Q&A to BNF and CIS, and chapter 8, advice to traders. And that completes the whole session for today. Okay, so in terms of the asset growth, I will introduce the asset growth between 2000, a year of 2000 to 2007. So here is the quick capture of how they grow these assets. So this is in USD, US dollar, and BNF, he started with 16,000 USD in 2000. Then 2007, he turned it to 175 million USD. And CIS started his trades in 2000 from 10,400, and 2007 he turned it to 50 million USD. So let me exactly introduce how they grow their asset, and I made a graph so that it may be easier for you to understand. So here is asset growth of BNF. Hold on, let me try to fit this into page. Okay, so in 2000, he started with 16K USD and he started stock trading. And then in 2003, he already turned it to 2.7 million USD. And between 2000 to 2003, like I mentioned here, he was trading contrarian trading style. So whenever he sees the deviation from 20 SMA, then he takes trades against the major direction, and that's how he was trading and turned his asset to 2.7 million in 3 years. And let me let me exactly tell you how he turned it to 2.7. So yeah, so let me also talk about that. And then yeah, and since 2003 to 2007, he actually turned it to 175K. So, oh sorry, this is million, sorry about the typo. You see, I was really busy and rush to create this slide today, so I didn't have time to double check, sorry about that. So yes, so 175 million in 2007, like this. So since 2003 to 2007, he was trading trend follow strategy on major stock markets, big stock markets. He was a trend follow. And in 2004, well actually 2003 was when BNF and CIS met the first time. And then 2004, they met the second time. And 2007, they met the third. So after this, I am not sure if they met or not, but they met together 3 times until 2007. And in the year of 2005 December, he earned 20 million USD at JCOM incident. And sorry, this is also typo, I'm sorry about this. JCOM incident was one of the biggest news in Japan, where one of the bank corporations made a mistake, and he actually made a big mistake basically, and the price, one of the company's price went down. Actually, JCOM, the company's name is JCOM's stock price went down, and then he found it because he monitored the charts every day, and then he bought on the bottom, and then by the time they corrected the information, he made such a big profit. Both BNF and CIS made huge profit because of this incident. So he made 20 million USD in December 2005. And then his asset keeps growing until 2007. So like I mentioned here, basically asset grew big by contrarian trading and swing trading, never lost in yearly basis. So this is how his asset grew over time since 2000. And what's really significant, or what's really profound about this, is that even he started with 16K, then he gradually compounded and accumulated profits over time. So especially the jump from here to here was almost 10 times between 2004 and 2005, after he switched his strategy from contrarian to trend follow. Then he actually turned 10 million to 100 or 2 million, about more than 10 times. So that was a big jump. And here, 1 or 2 million to 157 million, this is about 50% also in 1 year, and this is just amazing. Of course, if you look at his trade history in daily basis, there are some days that he made losses, but in yearly basis, you can see that he has been making profits over time. So he never lost in yearly basis, but instead he kept growing his asset over time like this. And let me exactly tell you how he was trading when he was contrarian and when he was a trend follow trader, which is the chapter 2. So let me first introduce his contrarian strategy. So he says contrarian trading in a short term, and he look for a specific stock market from ranking website. He was referring to Yahoo Finance ranking. Yahoo Finance is one of the websites in Japan that introduces the top ranking of the volatility on the stock market. The most volatile market becomes top, and then the website actually shows the ranking. It depends on the volatility. So he has been looking for a specific stock market from ranking website, which Kylie is more than 20% from 20 MA, moving average. So Kylie means deviation or divergence. So I think I also shared one of the Kylie trading strategy on my video by Ichimoku, by Kijun-sen, but he was using 20 MA, 20 period moving average. And whenever he sees the stock market deviates 20% from 20 moving average, then he used to buy or sell. And he takes profit when Kylie becomes around 15%. So when deviation becomes within the 15%, then he closes his trades. And in early 2000, there were a lot of stock markets which had more than 30% Kylie. So that's why he has been trading Contrarian. And his strategy really suited on those markets. So between 2000 to 2003, he has been trading like that. So let me exactly show you how he traded from the chart. Well, we can't really find the chart back in 2000. I was searching on the trading view on one of the Japanese stock markets, but I couldn't go back before 2001. So this is just one of the examples. And this is not his trades, but let me just show you the idea. So this is a daily time frame. This was a daily time frame, and the yellow line is the 20 SMA. So this one is 20 SMA. 20 SMA, and whenever the market deviates Kylie from 20 SMA, it goes back. Whenever it deviates, it goes back. That's a tendency. So whenever it deviates from 20 moving average, more than 30%. So in this case, this is 28.80. So if he were watching the market like this, and if he saw the market deviates more than here, let me see, yeah, more than 20%, sorry, 20% from 20 SMA, in this case 28%, then he buys from here, he buys, and then on the next day, or actually on the next candlestick, it actually becomes in this case 12%. So whenever he sees the market gets closer, becomes closer to the 20 moving average, 15%, around 15%, then he would close his trade. Let's say here. So this is his exit. And this is his entry. Buy. So that's how he was trading Contrarian. So for example, let's say the market goes down like this. Let me see the market goes down like this, for example, continuously. And as it goes down on the stock market, then you have 20 SMA. Maybe it will look like this. The market may be resisted by the 20 SMA. Then the market keeps going down. In that case, he has been buying from the bottom and exit 50% to the 20 MA. So he took these profits basically, and that was his contrarian strategy. So he wasn't a trend and follow, but he has been a contrarian trader. And the reason why he wasn't a trend and follow, I mean downtrend, the markets were downtrending, but the reason why he didn't sell and keep holding was because he has been looking for which company to buy. He wasn't really watching the market to sell. But back in 2000 to 2003, the whole markets were bearish in Japan. And you can see that in Nikkei 225. This here is the Nikkei 225 between 2000 and 2006. So this chart here started from January 2000, and ever since the market went down all the way until April 2003. So you can see that the whole markets in Japan has been bearish. So no matter how many times you look for the company or stock markets to buy, you couldn't make profits. So people usually try to buy and hold stock markets, but the trend follow, bullish trend follow strategy was not really working. And that's why BNF found the pattern that whenever the price deviates more than 20% from 20 SMA, then it always retraces back to 20 SMA. So he took contrarian trades in this reason. So he actually watches the Nikkei 225, and he also watches Dow Jones and other overseas stock markets, India, Europe, and US, as I introduced on the part 2 video. But he trades Japanese stock markets. And since May 2003, the market turned bullish. And when he noticed that the market turned bullish, then he became a trend follow, and he started to make profits by swing trades. So he actually watches the market through Nikkei 225 index, and he follows the Nikkei direction. This is one of the reasons why he has been a contrarian trade. Okay. So, and then let me now introduce his trend follow strategy since 2003. So he says like this. He says he monitors about 100 stock markets because his asset is too big. Again, in 2003, his asset already became 2.7 million USD. So because of his asset being too big, he had to diversify his money into multiple stock markets. He couldn't go in one stock market with the volume he had because he couldn't execute. So he had to diversify 100 stock markets, and then he selected 30 to 50 markets to trade in a day. And he monitors Nikkei 225 within a day, and once it starts to be bearish, he sells the markets too. So again, Nikkei 225 has been bullish, and you see the market bearish sometimes in a smaller time frame. So whenever he sees bearish, he also sold. So he basically follows the Nikkei 225 trends, whether it's bearish or bullish, but overall it has been bullish, so he has been buy and hold. But sometimes when he sees the momentum to bearish by Nikkei and other sources, then he also took some sell positions. So that's how he changed his strategy since 2003. Okay, so when I say this, you may wonder, so what was he watching exactly? Was he using other indicators besides moving average? And some may ask me, was he using Ichimoku Kinko Hyo? And the answer is Unfortunately, no, because he never mentioned about Ichimoku, but rather he was watching more fundamentals and also order books on stock markets and volumes and volatility, and also fundamental news and Dow Jones and also other index. So let me now show you his trade setup. Then I think it will make much more sense to you how he was trading in his desk. So here is his desk, and okay, let me just make my screen a bit smaller so you can read the whole thing. So this is his desk. He has 6 screens, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. So he has 6 screens. And first, let me introduce the top one here. So here, this one, he uses this one for CME chart, Chicago Mercantile Exchange chart, and he takes timing through futures. Major stocks follow futures, so when futures go bearish, he closes his trades. Well, actually, this trade setup was when he was a trend follow. When he was a contrarian, we don't really know what kind of setup he was having, probably the same, but this picture was from 2006, after he became a trend follow trader. So on one of the screens, he shows CME chart, and on the bottom here, he actually also watches the market speed. So basically overall market information. He also does margin trading since September 2004, but only spot trading because his asset again was too big, more than 30 million USD, so he couldn't trade in bigger positions. I mean, more than 30 million USD, he couldn't go in, so that's why he was only doing spot trading, in margin trading. So he watches market speed here, and on the top middle screen, he shows the chart through Tokyo Keizai. Tokyo Keizai is one of the most famous economic newspapers in Japan, and they also have website for the chartings. So he actually also watches that chart to spot a specific trade timing, and he never trades unless overall market is in his favor. So yeah, that's how he set up the screen. And here in the middle bottom, he shows another market speed where 80% limit order trading. So he actually trades limit order 80% of the time. And within 30 minutes after market opens in Japan, he trades a volume of 30 million USD due to volatility. So he says, after the market opens, within the 30 minutes, the volatility becomes the most. So that's where he goes in, his asset and takes trades. So then also on top left, this screen, he shows ranking through Yahoo Finance. Again, Yahoo Finance, I mentioned before, is the ranking website which shows a volume ranking of a day. Stocks at high ranking trend tend to move towards one direction continuously. So he was also watching the ranking website in terms of volatility every day. And then on the left bottom, he shows another market speed, and he decides how much to buy depends on order book of each market. When volume is too big, he cannot exit quickly. So that's how he set up his trade station. So this is very much, I think, different from what you may have imagined. So like this, he hardly shows indicators or charts. The chart he was showing here was even line chart. He wasn't really watching the chart itself. He has been referring to other source of information and chart. Sometimes he said he shows the candlesticks, but also he shows the chart in line chart also with 20 SMA when he was contrarian. But most likely when he was a trend follow, he hardly used some indicators. He has been using some indicators, but especially after he became a trend follow, he more looks at these other source of information to trade the stock markets every day. So that's how he set up his trade station. And that's how he grew his asset from 2.7 in 2003 to 175 million in 2007. So now I hope you get some idea of how he has been trading every day. So myself, I don't trade stocks, I only trade Forex, so this is very much different from mine. But if you trade stock markets, then you may be familiar with his setup on his desk. Okay, so now let me introduce the asset growth of CIS, okay, as chapter 5. So I also made a graph, and that is this one. So he also started his trades in 2000 at the age of 20, and he started with 10,400 USD. And in 2001, actually before he starts in 2000, I actually mentioned here one of his episodes is always interesting. He actually, in 1997, he earned 100k USD by gambling and tried to increase it to 3 million USD by horse racing, but he lost everything. And then he worked part-time, and then he saved his money around 10,000 USD, and then started in 2000 when he was also at the university as a student. Then 2001, he turned the asset to 80k, but then he started working full-time because back then his strategy was not really solid yet, and some days where he was losing big in one of these days. So that's why he also started working full-time until 2003. And then in 2002, he actually decreased his asset to 30k USD because he failed his trades on Mizuho Bank, and so on, he says. So he had multiple losses in 2001. In 2003, he turned the 30k to 600k. And this is when he met BNF for the first time. And then 2004, 3 million, 2005, 30 million, and 2006, 42 million, and 2007, 50 million. So just like BNF, CIS also made a huge profit in JCOM incident in late 2005. He also made 500k USD when that happens. So overall, his asset growth after becoming a full-time trader was much more than BNF. He already earned 10 million USD, which is 20% increase in July 2007. So this is also an amazing asset growth. And again, this is again also because from 2003, Japan stock markets started to trend very big, especially they say in 2004 and 2005, there were so many trends everywhere. So that's how they grew asset the most between those years. So that's his asset growth. And now let me introduce his trading strategy. So his trading strategy is to spot a market, and he read order book also, just like BNF. But unlike BNF, he doesn't diversify his asset into multiple stock markets. He chooses one or only few stock markets to trade per day. So here it's opposite from BNF. And once he finds the market to be strong trend, then buys strong. So that means he actually goes in with a high lot size and with high leverage, and he just goes in once he finds the market to be a strong trend in the day. Then he says, so it's like I buy it first, so everyone follow me, is his mindset, he says. So this is also very opposite from BNF. So I would say CIS is more like intuitive trades. Although he had strategies, he also, based on his experience, he also has knowledge and wisdom to take trades, and he knows what he was doing. And then exit as soon as the trend is over. And he hardly holds overnight. That's also what he said. Okay, so let me show you the sample of how he was trading with this strategy. So this is one of the charts on M5, and this is within the day. So let's say this is when the market opens, then this is when the market closes within a day. So within the day, on one of the stock markets, he finds it to the best, then he buys when it starts to trend. He buys and buys, and then exit whenever the trend stops. And again, when the market starts to trend again, then he goes in strong with high leverage, and then exit as soon as the trend is over. And when the market goes down through also Nikkei, then he sells the market and then exit as soon as the downtrend is over. So this is an example of how he was trading in 2003 and 2005. So this is his trend follow strategy. So he has been more like an intraday trader also, but he buys and hold, sometimes overnight, he says. He says he hardly holds overnight, but when the trend is really strong, he does hold overnight, he says. So that's his trading strategy. Okay, so you can see that the strategy between BNF and CIS was very different. So again, CIS is a trend follow strategy, and BNF also after 2003, but he made also some assets and profits by contrarian trades, like with this strategy. And I think now, I'm not sure, but whenever you see the stock market's been bullish, you may not be able to use this strategy, or unless the market has high volume and high volatility, those deviations may not happen. So I am not really sure if BNF knew about the Bollinger Bands, but it's like when the market breaks the Bollinger Bands deviation 2 or 3, then he buys, and whenever the market retraces to the 20 SMA on Bollinger Bands, then he exits his trades. So this is his contrarian strategy. Okay, so now let me show you some Q&A to BNF and CIS. Sorry, CIS. Okay, so first let me introduce some of the Q&A to BNF, an interviewer asked him some general questions, not only about the trades, but also his life itself. So I think you may find it to be very interesting. So here, so first question was, what was your biggest purchase in life? And he replies, my house. I also bought some nice furniture. Actually, he bought a house and that costed like a 2 million USD, which is not really much for him, I think, considering his asset. But he says his house was the biggest purchase in life. And question number 2, what do you think about your new home? And he says, I like it because it's convenient and good security, but it's really big. So I try to turn off lights whenever I notice it. And number 3 question, what do you usually do during your day off? He says, I take a walk outside, sometimes ride bicycle. Number 4, are you interested in high brand cars? And he replies, I have a driver license but never drove before. Number 5, what was the most memorable moment recently? He replies, meeting with Mr. Son, the CEO of the SoftBank, and also Mr. Kitao, CEO of SBI. They had a very good understanding on short-term trading. Okay, hold on, let me also adjust my frame, sorry. Okay, and question number 6, why do you think you become successful? He says, the timing when I was born and started trading was good. So that's the Q&A to BNF. And so here's another Q&A to CIS. Okay, so number 1 question, what is your monthly expense? He replies, I spend $300 per month, but treat $20,000 to my friends. Number 2, what was the most expensive purchase recently? He says, mutual fund suggested by a bank, then I quit very soon. Number 3, are you interested in real estate investment or overseas stock trading? He says no, because domestic stock trading is more efficient in terms of time and tax. Number 4, why do you think you become successful in stock trading? He says, I like a routine job. Also, I don't care about the losses. Number 5, what is your goal? He says, inviting some celebrities to my stock trading community. So that's his replies. So you can see that the replies are very much different, almost opposite between them. And that's why I think it's very interesting to see how different their mindset are. Okay, so finally, let me introduce their advice to traders. So first, BNF says, experience to lose money is quite important. You should be successful only if you learn from it. And he says loss cut is the most important, but you will never know it unless you actually lose. No matter how someone says to me it's important in 2005 trending market, I may not have believed it. Then everyone really learned it in 2006 when market crash. So learn from your losses is his advice. So in 2005, there were so many trends. Then 2006, Japan stock market crash. You can actually tell from Nikkei 225. So here is the 2006. Until then, the market went up, then crash. So this is where people, lost huge money in this bearish mode. So he says, learn from his advice to everyone. And let me introduce some comment from CIS. He says, choose a volatile market if you want to win big. He says you will start to have a sense of price action and fundamentals after you experience a number of trades. But you need to be in the volatile market to experience it. If you choose a quiet and less volatile market, it won't give any experiences to you. So I highly recommend you to trade a volatile market. So that is his advice. What do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Or any comments are welcomed in this comment section on my YouTube video. But yeah, that's what I wanted to introduce on this live stream today as part 3. So I have also read some books of CIS and also some other websites and interviews of a BNF. So whenever I find some information to be interesting, then I will continue to introduce these in my YouTube. But I think one of the things, just to conclusion, for me also, risk management is the most important, like I mentioned as always. So risk management is actually connected to the psychology management, and that is really important. And also CIS also says, choose the volatile market, otherwise you won't have chances to trade. And I totally agree with that too. Oh, David also mentions that. Right. Right. Volatility is very important. Volumes within the market is very important. I think in the stock markets too. For me as a Forex trader, I am a trend follower. So unless there is a trend and trend volatility, then I won't take trades. So for me, I check the condition based on what it's called the currency strength chart, and whenever the strength is there, I prefer to enter trades. So you can also apply if you trade stock markets or Forex or even commodities or Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. I think the same rule may be applied. Yeah. Right. Gan also agree with that. Yes. Thank you very much for the comment. And also, BNF says, learn from the losses. And that's why I recommend everyone to journal your trades. We have to journal our trades and look back the losses. Right. David also says, losing is the key. Right. So don't let the losses be losses themselves, because that's where you can find the biggest lessons from. So look back, you're losing trades, and identify the reasons for the losses. Then try to avoid the same pattern of losses on your next trades. Then I think that's also a very important way to improve your trades over time. We tend to focus on the winning strategy, or what strategy works and what strategy brings you profit. We tend to think like that, but at the same time, it's important to avoid the mistakes and avoid the losses. So because we have patterns on anything in life, on what you do. We have patterns of success, we have patterns of failures. So if we avoid those patterns of the failures or losses, then losses won't be a failure anymore, and you can keep on going your journey. So yeah, that was also some advice from myself through my understanding, and also advice from BNF and CIS. So now I have about 10 minutes, so let me check some of the comments. Yeah, but yeah, today was public recording. So yeah, again, sorry about the typos. I had some mistakes on the slide because I was kind of rushing to create the information. Okay, Ellie says the risk in this strategy is that you don't know where the bottom is, like catching a falling knife. Yes, so you mean the contrarian trades like this, right? Yeah, so you never know, but when overall market is downtrending, then yeah, basically you look for the deviation and then buy. So that was his strategy. But yeah, I agree. It's like catching a falling knife. So it's more risky to trade in that way. So you have to be spot on to trace with this kind of strategy. You have to have the big high level of focus and precise entry and exit timings to do this. Yeah. Okay, hello everyone, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, so now let me see. Moy Bank says, hi, how are you? Do you know how much is BNF's capital now? Thanks. No one knows how much he has now. But one thing we know is that he is not trading stock markets anymore because we can't find his name on the how do you say, the stock market borders. So he's not being a board member, or he doesn't own major share on one of these stock markets through the books. So now his capital is too big that he cannot trade the stock markets anymore. So he has been trading the real estate, or he has been buying some lands and buildings and real estates. So, but now no one exactly knows what he's doing. He never shows up in public or any social medias, so we never know. Okay, David says, which lessons from CIS and BNF do you take out for yourself? Which one are the most important to you? Yeah, I think the important is from one is from BNF, like I mentioned here, learn from the losses. It's really important. And also CIS says find the volatile market. I read these statements actually a couple of years ago, and I have been practicing their mindset. So these are some of the big lessons. And what's more, once you find your opportunity through your strategy, then take trades no matter what, is also what I learned from them. Because they take trades every day and multiple times. So you won't be able to hold back, or you won't be able to keep watching, although there are some opportunities per day. So I learned from them that once you see the opportunity, then take trades and see how it goes. And keep repeating your trades with discipline over time. So, and also one thing common is me and CIS is that the CIS also has been trading aggressively when he first started in 2000 until 2003, and it was just like myself. So I also lost money when I first start the full-time trade, and but I never gave up. Even if I had some big losses, I just kept going, keep learning, and kept going myself. Yeah, so I think that's also something in common between myself and CIS. And also what's common is that they have discipline. They both have high level of discipline, and they like routine jobs. So at first, when you start trading or when you get used to it, then it may be challenging to keep watching the charts every day because they're always there, and whenever you take trades, you may lose consecutively. But once it becomes routine, then it won't be a pain anymore. Just like brushing your teeth. You can watch markets, screen charts, and take trades and exit with a loss or profits, and it just becomes a natural routine every day. So until the trading becomes routine, I think we have to keep trading. Then you will be better and better and learn from the losses. One of my students said, there is no such a thing as a loss. There are always win or learn, and I think that's really true. So win or learn, then just keep going. Okay, so I think it's time for me to go now, so I will finish the live. But thank you very much for watching, everyone, today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. So yeah, next week I will be sharing the day in the life video of myself in Dubai as a Japanese full-time trader. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And also tomorrow I will be doing the weekly forecast as Sunday's topic. I cover the Forex pairs in my watch list, and commodity gold and WTI, and indices and Bitcoin and news. The fundamental news I will cover tomorrow. So hope to see you there too. So I hope you have a great weekend and see you in the next one. So until then, please stay healthy, stay safe, stay gold. Bye for now. またね. Thank you very much.